Hey there, welcome. I'm Cindy Daychuk with Queen Bee Creations. We're going to do something a little different today. Now, I was just making some scented wax sachets, and I have some leftover wax. So I've unplugged it, I'm letting it cool, but what I want to do is color it a little bit first for this particular project. And I didn't know, but I'm going to experiment with whether or not mica powder would work in wax. So all I've done is I've melted part of a candle. So we're using a firm wax, you know, a little bit more. I mean, that's a cheap candle from the dollar store. So it's, you know, not like it's not nice soy or something, which is a much softer wax. I'm taking a little bit of rose. Just seeing. It looks a little more, oh, I was gonna say it looks more like it's streaky, but it's not. It's very shimmery. So that's kind of pretty. Okay, I don't wanna do sparkles, and I'm gonna let that go. And I'm just thinking that maybe I need a little more pink. All right, so let me just try. I'm playing, I'm experimenting. You'll see in a minute where we go with this. The whole thing is an experiment. I'm just adding a little bit of alcohol ink to create a little bit of color. And I just wanted it a little bit translucent as opposed to anything else. Okay, well, we'll see. We'll try it and we'll see if that's dark enough. If it's not dark enough, then we'll do more. We'll add more. It's okay. All right, so I'm gonna pull you in overhead so that you can see what I'm doing. Once it cools down just a tinge more, because I'm gonna be putting my fingers in this. So that's the deal, is that you want it to be a temperature that's still warm enough that it's liquid, but is not so hot that you're gonna burn yourself. Okay, so we can't have it solid, but we can't have it hot. So I'm just cooling it down, testing it out. You saw me testing on my fingers, still a little warm. And then when it's optimum, it's the optimum temperature, I'll come back and we'll start building some of these pieces together. And then you'll see where I'm going. Maybe. We'll see how clear it is. It's just one of those weird ideas. Okay. I had extra wax. Okay, I couldn't fit it all in overhead, so you get this view instead. So what I have in here is water with a little bit of dish soap in it. So I'm just dipping my fingers in there, and then I'm dipping them into my semi-warm, semi-cool wax. It's not burning me in any way. And I'm just kind of letting it set, and then dipping it again, just so I get it enough on there. And I'm just kind of now gonna wiggle this a little bit. It's kind of set. And I'm just gonna put it off to the side. So what I am doing while it's still warm is I'm just kind of pinching the bottom slightly, pushing them together. And this becomes our little, I think that's enough pink. That becomes our little cherry blossoms. Oh, and that one's a nice, delicate little pink. So I think that's kind of nice that I'm gonna get a bit of a contrast. It's probably based on the number of times I dip. Okay, maybe. I wonder if I can get little baby ones if I use smaller fingers. Okay, we're just really playing now. Oh yes, nice, delicate. So I'm just gonna make a mess of these, and a bunch of them. And I'm gonna leave them to just kind of fully firm up overnight. And then I'll show you what I thought that I would do with them. Okay, the fastest, easiest way that I have now discovered to do this is to just simply dip in the water. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dip in the water to chill it, and then it pops right off. What I've also been doing, I just got wax splashed on me, is I've been taking my little finger, 1, 2, 3, 4, dipping it in, and then just pulling off just a single little bud. So I'm just doing a mess of them so that I'm ready for the next step. Now that these have had overnight to dry, all I'm looking at doing is taking some of these little tiny picks from the dollar store. And these ones are in white and they're shooting everywhere. And I'm just going to kind of take a couple of them. My glue is leaking out the sides, so that's why I'm taking it from there. But I'm just going to take a couple and I'm going to drop them into the center of some of my blossoms. Now, I'm not going to need all of these blossoms for my project, so I'm only going to glue these into some of them and then see how it goes in the project, right? Just trying to get that to stand up a little bit, but just, you know, whatever I don't use, I can either save for another project or I can simply put it into my wax jar and melt them down later. So I'm just looking for them being like this, or my little blossoms, my little individual buds like this. So I'm just kind of picking out the best ones, the ones I like the most, that I think will work best for the project. And I'm going to get those glued in before we move on to the next step. Final step in the process, of course, is assembling. Now, what I have is just this little hurricane lamp base, and I have some sticks from the back 40 here, and I'm just going to kind of loosely stick them in there. This one's a little fat, so we're just going to have to try carving off a bit here. Make it a little thinner. That should do it. Let's see. Oh, of course I carved it in a direction I didn't want it. Okay, I want it the other way. Doesn't that just figure, right? There's a big knot. Okay. Just see. There we go. Okay. So I spray paint. I took the liberty of spray painting these white. I figured you guys didn't need to see that. You would know it. You would know that just by being told. So now the idea is that we are going to, I just want this guy to stay. All right, we're going to attach some of our cherry blossoms. Now, if I put the hot glue on the blossom, it's going to melt because wax. So I'm going to put some of the hot glue on the stem. Just give it a couple of seconds to cool. And then I'm going to attach my blossom. There we go. And I have some that are, you know, just the little tiny buds. I have some that are the blossoms, and it's really just kind of arranging them where you want. But the idea is not to have tons of them all over, just, you know, a little bit of a judicious sampling of them. And it's just kind of sticking them where you want. Just be cautious of that melt factor. You know, it's kind of, you could do a different glue to avoid that fact, but the hot glue, of course, is going to dry quicker and prevent me from having to hold them in place. But that glue is on the bottom and not on the top. There we go. All right, I'm just going to continue to attach my blossoms, and I'll come back when they're on and we'll see what it looks like. And this is my finished little blossom tree. So the idea is not for it to be like a massive covered tree. The idea is that you have those branches with little blossoms. You don't have to have the full heat on the glue, but of course it has to be still wet. But these are so light that you can put like a full blossom on a little tiny branch, and they move and they wiggle and they adhere, and it's really kind of cute. And what's beautiful about them is that they look so delicate. I mean, well, they are delicate, but I mean, I can be manhandling them or woman handling them, as it were, and they're fine. I mean, could I crush it if I wanted to? Absolutely. But they're fine, just kind of, you know, even dropping it and it still holds. So it's not like they're so delicate that you can't touch it or move it or, you know, potentially knock it a little bit. But I think this is a cute way to bring a little bit of spring indoors, and, you know, you could create a much, I'm just pulling glue threads off still, but you could create a much bigger element. And I gotta tell you, making the little blossoms was a breeze and a little bit addictive, because I ended up with way more than I needed. Even the ones that I did with the little, you know, fake stamens in the center, the little white sections, I still have at least half a dozen that I didn't attach because I started to think it would be overkill. Let me know what you think of this. Let me know if you've done little wax flowers or little wax blossoms like this before. It was a great little thing to add on to the end of using some wax and having some melted wax to be able to use up. Did not take very much at all. And yeah, it was really pretty fun. It was really reminiscent of playing with the old Elmer School glue when I was a kid, and dipping your fingers in and letting it harden and pulling it off, or making fingerprints or something. It was very similar to that. So, you know, I just kind of reminisced along the way, but I had a good time. Looking forward to hearing your comments as always, and looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Until then, take care.